Hello everyone, this is the Functional Dysfunctional Shul number 13, and I'd like to dedicate all the words of Torah I'm about to say to one of the victims that we lost this past Shabbos. Elon Vis, Zechrono Livracha, Hashem Yikom Damo. A grandfather, 49 years old, who refused to get out of reserve duty and was murdered by the forces of evil this past Shabbos together with all the other victims. He left not one, not two, but 3 generations of orphans. I can't get his smile out of my head since I saw his picture, and I'll just tell you one little story about him. One of my colleagues at work was on duty around the place he lives, and there was unfortunately terrorists that were on the loose. Everyone was told to be at home and shut their doors and lock their houses. They were looking for the terrorists for about 2 hours. All of a sudden they see someone moving, so obviously it could be a terrorist, and everyone made sure to cock their guns and get ready, and it was Elon Vis who said, "I've been home for 2 hours, and I know you've been out looking for terrorists for 2 hours, and it's freezing cold outside. I'm assuming you're all very cold. I brought a thermos, I brought tea." And that's who we lost, and that's who our enemies decided to murder. May Hashem avenge his holy blood together with all the victims of the Jewish people speedily in our times. And since we're speaking about very, very special people, I'd like to speak about another special person. May God give him a long life. And that is a dear friend from Stamford, Connecticut by the name of Michael Feldstein. Michael writes an amazing column each week in the New Jersey Link, a Jewish newspaper out of New Jersey. And recently, he put out a book of his many articles called Meet Me in the Middle, basically defining himself as a centrist, not someone that's radically to the right or to the left. He wrote a beautiful book collecting many of his articles. I love this book for 2 reasons. Number one, each chapter is only 1,000 words, because that's the articles he has to write for the newspaper. They're limited. So each chapter is short, sweet, and to the point, and I like that. And number 2, it brings back so many memories going through the chapters. You go back to the Maxwell House Haggadah, to the years of, unfortunately, COVID, not to mention so many other memories, the first Eruv in West Hempstead, and many, many others. And obviously, since, as everybody knows, I'm mentally challenged, when I go through the table of contents, the first thing I look for is things that have to do with davening. So I'd like to share one thing from his book that I 100% agree with, and God willing, tomorrow I'll share something else. And that is correcting the Lainer. Correcting the Lainer is something you have to be very careful about, especially in an Ashkenazic community. The Ramah paskins that you only correct the Lainer if he makes a mistake that changes the significance of the word. Namely, if it says "thou shalt not steal" and the Baal Korah didn't say "thou shalt not," but he says "steal," instead of "lo tignov," he says "tignov," then you have to correct him. But if he says "kasef" instead of "kesef," they both mean money, and you don't have to correct them. And therefore, I have 2 cardinal rules that I've said many times, and I'm going to say them again. Number 1, when in doubt, don't correct, because it's only a derabanan except for 2 lanings a year, and you're probably wrong. If you're the only one correcting, it's probably that the significance didn't change. If you're the only one to jump up, then probably it's the right significance, and it's no reason to correct. Number 2, it's absolutely uncanny that thousands of people jump up in Shul and try to correct the Baal Korah. It gets everyone tzedleit, not to mention it gets the Baal Korah mixed up. And therefore, my advice to everyone is don't correct. Have one person in each Shul who is obviously a mumche, someone that is an expert on knowing the correct way of laning, the correct pronunciation of words, and most importantly, what's a mistake. And he should stand as a Gabbai Sheni next to the Baal Korah, and he should be the only one to correct him, not 5,000 people. I have reason to believe that part of those corrections are not because people are very concerned about their laning, but rather it's something to do. Laning sometimes can be long, like Parshat Naso that we just read, and therefore it's something to do in Shul. It's a little excitement when you correct the Baal Korah. It causes embarrassment. There was even one Rishon named the Baal Hamanhik who says never to correct the Baal Korah. We don't paskin that way, but it should be taken to heart. And therefore, A, don't correct when you're in doubt. And B, best to have one person that corrects, who understands Hebrew, who knows significance of words, and he will be the only one to correct. That will increase decorum in the synagogue. That will not mix up the Baal Koreh. And most importantly, it will maintain dignity for everyone. There won't be 5,000 people jumping up. There will be dignity and decorum in the synagogue, and you'll have a proper laning as well. So once again, I fully encourage everyone to please buy this wonderful book, Meet Me in the Middle, by a dear friend from Stanford, Michael Feldstein, and I will promise you, you'll enjoy it, you'll go through memories, and you will 100% not regret buying and reading this wonderful volume.